What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Celtics Talk Weekly postgame show. I am your host, Seamus Zarlingo. Next to me, alongside of me, as I put up the correct graphic. Come on, this is Celtics Talk Weekly here, folks. The Celtics Talk Weekly postgame show is live now with me here, Seamus Zarlingo, aka Celtics Every Day, and alongside of me, Ian Anangelo. Ian, this is quite honestly the worst loss of the season. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not going to say anything extra about this loss because you see the final score on the bottom of the screen right now. Ian, I'm going to need your initial thoughts, and we're going to go deep into this one.
Do we have the clip to pull up? Do we have the audio to pull up, or do I have to pull it up myself?
You're gonna have to pull it up here. On my end, it's not quite queued. You're gonna have to pull this one up on your end, Ian. Go ahead.
It's obvious what's being done out here. It's on a nightly basis. I hope the world can see now what's really going on out here, because it's getting ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. Yes, man. This is ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks to Marcus Cousins. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That was ridiculous. That was actually ridiculous. I don't know if the Celtics had. I actually don't even know how to comprehend what the Celtics did, honestly. What do you even say to a game like that? You literally, the Lakers had no LeBron James, no Anthony Davis, and you lost to Austin Reeves and friends. You literally let Austin
And
Reeves.
friend.
You literally let Austin Reeves turn into Steph Curry. Shot 7 of 10 from 3. I don't even know if he's done that. Like, I don't even know if he's had more than like 2 threes in a game this entire season at this point. You let D'Angelo Russell have a double-double on you. He had 16 assists. Or no, he had 16 points and he had 14 assists. Jackson Hayes, who I was literally playing a game with my friend of draft busts from over the years. Jackson Hayes' name came up. Bro has literally, I don't know. Can you name one amazing Jackson Hayes game in your entire lifetime?
I'm sure they exist, but you're exactly right about the names who are dominating us tonight.
You can't. He had 16 and 10.
This was his signature moment. So tonight, basically.
Yes. He had 16 and 10. Seamus. Like, come on. And the Celtics were missing Luke Cornett. That's it.
Well, Rob's point on Luke Cornett right now is looking awful. I just want to point that out because can we not survive without one big guy in our rotation? One big guy.
Also, you got 40 points from the bench. 40. That has to be like a high of the season. You got 40 points from your bench. I'm not going to lie to you. This is on the starters. All of them. Cool. Jason Tatum had 23 points. Fantastic. Doesn't matter. He was terrible.
Jackson Hayes' career high is only 23. So he was only 7 points away. If he was in garbage time, I think they would have been able to hit that mark.
They couldn't play garbage time because all they had was their bench. All they had was their bench. Oh my God. Like, I don't care. I don't care. That was awful. I'm trying to say it in the most PG way possible because we're trying to be a legitimate, we're trying to be a legitimate network here on the Celtics Talk Weekly. This is a legitimate show. But the Celtics, I don't think I've seen them play a worse game of basketball. They had 9 turnovers in the first quarter.
This is a top 20 scoring game for Jackson Hayes, by the way. Sorry to interrupt, but just want to throw that out there.
Of course it is. It wouldn't surprise me. The Celtics had 9 turnovers in the first quarter. Let's see. How many offensive rebounds did they allow? They allowed 15 offensive rebounds in this game. And 10 of them were in the first quarter. It's just like,
that is right there, Ian. That is a sign of a team thinking that they're just supposed to win by showing up. I'm sorry. That's exactly. When you turn the ball over 9 times, when you let 10 offensive rebounds go off the board right away, immediately in the first quarter, after you get the news in the late afternoon that LeBron James and Anthony Davis is not going to play in this game, how can you not look at that and say, oh, that's a team thinking highly of themselves without actually doing anything? And Joe Mazzulla, he said in his postgame presser that he likes this loss for the team. Now, I think people are going to take that the wrong way, and I even think if Rob was on here on the program tonight, I think Rob would have a word with how Joe Mazzulla approaches that. But I still believe this loss in that regard could be good for the Celtics because it's like, look, this is embarrassing. It's completely embarrassing, but I think it's terrible that we are consistently putting up inconsistent moments, Ian. This happened on Saturday against the Clippers, but we kind of shed it to the side because no Porzingis.
This happened against the Bucks.
No Porzingis, and they're a contending team. Well, tonight's team, this is not a contender. We're being beat by Taurean Prince, being beat by Jackson Hayes, being beat by Jared Vanderbilt. All of these names. And these are not.
Oh, my God. I didn't even talk about Jared Vanderbilt.
50. This team, the Lakers, okay, they ended up for the game. I was looking at their first quarter stat line here real quick.
That was pretty much the game anyway.
They shot 52.8% for the game. Now, yes,
that's from 3. That's from 3. That's from 3.
52.8%
from 3. Seamus.
From 3. You could have a hot shooting night. It's not out of the ordinary to have a hot shooting night. But when you shoot over 50% like this, 52%, we saw it in Miami when the Celtics shot over 55%. They shot 55% in that game. That doesn't necessarily indicate you're hot. Yes, it partially does. but it also partially indicates the other team, there's no defensive help whatsoever on the perimeter. None at all. Because in Miami, I thought the Celtics, the reason they shot 55%, because Miami, they were awful contesting that game. The night before, they played the Charlotte Hornets, second night of a back-to-back. It's their first game with Terry Rozier in the lineup. Defensive schemes, offensive schemes might be a little bit different to where he needs to be adapted into the system. And they were not contesting our shots. And tonight, it's flipped. The reason the Lakers shot 52% on the night, almost 53%, is because the Celtics were the team not contesting shots. Or rather, I thought the Lakers, they were tremendous at driving and attacking straight into the heart of the Celtics defense and collapsing the entire thing and finding open shooters. That was the name of the game for them all night long. And I thought Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, although this Lakers team is 500, they have LeBron and AD, and they're certainly underperforming with those players right now. They shouldn't be 500 with LeBron and AD only missing about 10 games this season between the two of them. It makes absolutely no sense why they're at that record, considering what Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell were able to do to the Celtics tonight, because those two players, they put the Celtics defense on skates the entire game. And part of that I do attribute to their aggressiveness and their game plan and their attack. And partially LeBron and AD aren't out there. They have more freedom to actually go out there and be the players that they can actually be on court. But I also attribute it to the Celtics not being engaged. And I think some people out there are thinking, this is not really going to carry over, right? It's not, no. Ian, the Bucks game, me and you sat here. We made excuses for them. We made excuses for them that game. I feel bad for that post game now, knowing that in front of us, we said we have to see good data. This isn't good data.
No, you remember what we said in that show too. We said that Bucks loss wouldn't matter as much because the Timberwolves win, A, and B, because it wouldn't mean much in the future unless they don't do it again. And they've done it again twice since then. Also, we have an all-time quote from Tatum here. Tatum, we didn't play well enough to win, and they did. Just generational quote right there.
Wow, Tatum, I really I didn't see that out there. I don't know. Do y'all agree with Tatum? Comment in the section below. Do y'all agree with Tatum? Did the Celtics not play well, and did the Lakers play well? Do you guys agree with Jason Tatum tonight?
Hot take. I believe him. Hot take. I agree.
But
I do not. I don't know, man. That's the other problem. I think the biggest problem with the Celtics tonight was their lack of defensive pressure at all. Honestly, have you ever seen that meme with the security guard that kind of just lets the guys in? He just kind of pats their arms and lets them walk by. That's literally what the Celtics defense was. You talked about the Lakers' ability to drive and kick in the paint. That's because there was nobody attacking them. They got absolutely killed in the pick and roll tonight, too. Literally, you could have shown me Jackson Hayes and Bam Adebayo highlights in the same clip. I would not have been able to tell the difference. Bam Adebayo is able to set good screens. Jackson Hayes was looking like Bam Adebayo out there. They just didn't care. And it's wild to think that they didn't care.
I will add on to this point, Ian, real quick. Before you add on to this, too, where you said they didn't care. I would totally agree offensively, too. Did you see any intent on attacks tonight to the rim? Did you really see that intent from Brown, from Tatum, from White? I'm going to have a breakdown here later that involves Derek White and his intent and versus the Lakers' intent going to the rim. This is part of the issue. It's part of kind of being entitled of thinking, oh, LeBron James and Anthony Davis are out. We're going to come in here and win this game. Well, they scored 105 points tonight, Ian. 105. This isn't a crazy good defensive team. This isn't a crazy good shooting team. They shot 55% on the Celtics and held the Celtics to 33% shooting. So when they took 2 threes, right? They were making 1 out of every 2, and actually more than 1 out of every 2. When we were taking 3, we were making 1 out of 3. It says it right there. The discrepancy, it says it right there. I don't know if you want to piggyback off that point, but I agree with the effort level not being there, the engagement level not being there. And for this matchup, Who cares if LeBron and AD are playing? This is Celtics-Lakers. This will go down as a Celtics-Lakers result in the history books. Rob posted that stat earlier today of the all-time record. It's going to be on there. It's going to be on there, Ian.
Yeah. And, like, I don't know. If we're talking about the three-point shooting, I mean, now, granted, they said the stat on TNT. The Celtics held, like, the last 3 games, Celtics have been pretty good at defending the three ball. But on the other hand, what were those teams that they faced the last 3 games? Let's see. Indiana, who is not a very good three-point shooting team outside of Tyrese Haliburton
30%
and
against
Aaron
us.
Nesmith.
And that was lucky. That was a lucky game, Ian, because they shot 107 times. We shot, I believe, 83, if I'm not mistaken. Those numbers might be off. It was a 21-point shot discrepancy. That's all I know.
And then,
So
let's
it
see,
might not
the
be
New
those
Orleans
numbers.
Pelicans, they shot 28.6% from 3. Okay, that's good. And then, the Clippers shot 25% from 3, but still blew the doors off us.
We shot the exact same as the Clippers. We shot 10 of 40 that game. They shot 10 of 40. Everything else
So
was
it's like, and then tonight, we go back to it. And by the way, the Lakers are 28th in 3 points made this season. Like, 3-pointers overall, the Lakers are 28th in the NBA. There are 30 teams in the NBA. There are 30 teams in the NBA. The Lakers are 28th. They shot 52.8% from 3 tonight. I mean, you are letting guys like Max Christie, Christian Wood hit threes. Rui Hachimura hit 3 clutch time threes down the stretch. D'Angelo Russell, I mean, granted, he's been playing well recently. D'Angelo Russell, he shot 5 of 20 on the night. He shot 4 of 8 from 3. Jared Vanderbilt, who is a 25% three-point shooter on the season, shot 2 of 3 from 3. Torian Prince shot 1 of 2. And, of course, the guy who, if we did players of the game for both teams on this show, since we don't, if there was a player of the game, it would have been Austin Reeves, because he shot 7 of 10 from 3. And it just, I mean, he was hitting shots from the parking lot, and we were just kind of sitting there taking it, because that's all that they did tonight. They just stood there and took it.
Some of his shots were so deep that the Celtics, some of them, it's like, oh, you can't really do too much about that. You're not going to jump out on him that deep and cover him that deep. But some other ones we will see in the breakdown here where he kind of just methodically gets his shot or within rhythm of the offense. Austin Reeves, I definitely believe at this point in time, this is kind of a side conversation from the Celtics, but the Lakers, it's clear from this matchup tonight that LeBron and Anthony Davis, are they the most efficient basketball players to be manning a team anymore? Because, my goodness, this Lakers team tonight, if you look at the full scope of how they played this game, yes, the Celtics would probably beat this Lakers team in a 7-game series, likely. But I thought the way they played tonight, it would have been impossible if they were playing at a pace that they play at with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And you think that Austin Reeves, he has to be utilized more like this every single night. D'Angelo Russell, I like him as a ball handler. The problem within his career is he's never been all that efficient within shooting. Defensively, he's very on and off. He'll have moments where he's real locked in, and then other moments he's just kind of floating out there. And offensively, too, his decision-making can be a little off at times as well. It's always been something attached to him his entire career. But from tonight's game, I believe the way Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell specifically attacked the Celtics and what the Lakers were able to do to the Celtics tonight, I don't understand why this team isn't better. Because part of me does, if I'm levelizing my thought about this game, right? Rationalization a little bit instead of looking so negatively, because this is the worst loss of the season. This Lakers team should be a little bit better. They should. These players should be more maximized in the roles, and I thought they were tonight. And that's what I do want to take a little bit of optimism out of this game, is that you did face a team that came in and executed, but where the pessimism is that even amidst that execution, that great execution by the Lakers, the Celtics, there was absolutely no response. Now, if we would have lost this game by 2 and you go, oh, well, the Lakers, like, this is a bad loss, but the Celtics were right there. They combated their execution, the Lakers' execution. They punched them right back in the mouth, and it just happened to be the three ball that ended up being the discrepancy. They shot 55%, we shot 30%, but it's not that at all. Tonight, most of the game, I thought the Celtics were fairly disengaged. And you really look at wait, we didn't even bring this up. I completely forgot at the beginning of the show because this one's going to be a tough one to look at, folks. The lead tracker for tonight. It's not all green, Ian. It's not all green. We talked about this, the purple before the show.
And if you are colorblind,
this game was not out of reach.
Think it's green? No, it's all purple. It's all purple.
This game was not out of reach at multiple points in the fourth quarter. Look at that lead going into the fourth quarter. That's not an abundant lead. It's 8, 6, 10. It's right in that range. The Celtics against this specific Lakers team should have been able to put up at least a fight, either in the third quarter or the fourth quarter against this specific iteration of the Lakers. And it made no sense to me why the game felt over because, Ian, I'm not going to lie, in the ticker down below, it says we're covering the 12th loss of the season, okay? And usually I put in either the next win or the next loss in our ticker, right? And midway through the fourth, I put in a loss because for some reason, I have no idea why this team went about it this way. There was no thought or fight from the club that, oh, we're down 8. We can still win this game. It was pretty well, they've been hitting threes on our face all night. We haven't really been engaged all night. We haven't really come up with a run all night. You see in this lead tracker, there isn't really any significant run for the Celtics whatsoever. Maybe they're a little bit in the third quarter, but not that great as you see the Lakers. They punch them right back. There's no thought of, we can come back in this game down 8. Yet that's 3 threes. That's 3 possessions. That's 4 possessions. How many possessions are the Celtics going to play in the fourth quarter? It makes absolutely no sense that the game felt so out of reach at certain points in this game when it was really a matter of a few possessions. And that's what's really the concerning part about this game in the end is that no matter what happened within the game, there was no resistance from the Celtics. And I do think the TNT broadcast after the game was correct about that point of view. I didn't think they were correct about this team being mentally weak because, Ian, we have good wins this season. Look at our West Coast road trip. Look at that Minnesota game earlier this season. And we do take care of a lot of teams that we're supposed to and do have a couple of nice wins on the schedule, avenging bad losses earlier in the season. So I do disagree with the fact the Celtics are mentally weak, but I do believe that this game was a little bit of a concerning point from the fact of there was absolutely no fight from the team whatsoever.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think TNT actually watches the Celtics play outside of like the games that are actually on TNT. I don't know. Charles Barkley analysis of the Celtics was something. I wouldn't call it correct, but I would definitely call it something.
Well, I found it funny that they were talking to him like, you said the Celtics were going to win the title last week, and he was talking with great praise about the Celtics. I don't remember exactly when they were on TNT because we've been on TNT last 3 Thursdays now.
We were on there. Well, we were on there against the Pacers the last game. So it was the Pacers game, and then were we on there for the Clippers game? The Heat game. We were
the Heat and then the Bucks game as well. But the Bucks, I highly doubt anyone called us a championship team except for myself after that game. I don't think we can find a soul for that one.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, I did disagree with a lot of what Charles Barkley said about the Celtics because, I mean, I know their championship, their expectation is championship or bust this season, which we all have that expectation as Celtics fans. Us as individuals, Seamus and I, we have that expectation. This is championship or bust. But it felt like they were going a little hard on the Celtics for kind of no reason. Like,
it's like that with
I don't remember. Like, I don't remember, like, back last season, did the Nuggets get all this crap if they ever lost a bad game? I don't know. It's like, and like, I don't know. maybe it's just because we're Celtics fans and we watch every game, but not everybody does. So I can see how sometimes you would have that opinion. If you've only watched Celtics games on national TV, I could see how you could have an opinion of that because the Celtics don't seem to perform very well on national TV sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like they went kind of hard on the Celtics for no reason, but I mean, granted, they do deserve criticism for the way that they played tonight and kind of the way they've been playing recently. They almost blew a 20-point lead against the Pacers yesterday. They almost lost to the Pelicans until the fourth quarter, and then obviously they got blown out by the Clippers. But I don't know. It's just like it kind of felt like it was a little ridiculous. But
so we have a comment that suggests that Jaylen Brown should give some of his money back. To give some of his money back. I'm gonna disagree with this one because
speaking of Jaylen Brown, congratulations on becoming an All-Star this season. Jaylen Brown, third All-Star appearance of his career. You know, I don't know if he needs to give up the contract because of that, but
I honestly, Ian, I hate that you brought up Jaylen Brown's All-Star appearance right now because we should be giving him great praise for that. And I feel like I'm about to say a couple things. 12 shots tonight for Jaylen Brown. He needs to be more involved. He needs to be when this team is the most efficient. He is downhill attacking. The other team is going, oh my goodness, Jaylen Brown, his big 6'6", 6'7" body is coming right at us. That's a different level of the Celtics offense when he is just pounding it than if he's standing on the perimeter doing nothing with his, like, Jaylen Brown. I don't think people understand, like, he is built. He's not just one of these other 3-and-D wings. He is built, and that is partially why he's a superstar along with all the other intangibles and skills within his game. But I would actually disagree with him needing to give any money back because I actually think he's been – I know Jason Tatum's a starter. I know some numbers may point towards Jason Tatum being the better of the two, but I still think Jaylen Brown has more consistency within his game night to night. And I know tonight's game was a bit rough for Jaylen Brown, 4 of 12, 3 turnovers. Jason Tatum definitely had a better game, although he only shot 8 of 21. I did feel like a lot of those misses came at the end. In the fourth quarter, though, because he was shooting all right for part of this game, although he shot 38% in the end. So how much praise can you really give that? But I think Jaylen Brown has just been a little bit more consistent in creating positivity for this team on the basketball court in terms of production, that is, than Jason Tatum this season, which for one game like this, I'm not ready to go in on Jaylen Brown because we've seen a lot of nice games out of Jaylen Brown this year, Ian.
Yeah, and yeah, 100%. I mean, he played really, really bad tonight. I don't really know what got in him. It's kind of not a good look when you're selected as an all-star and then the same night you drop a 4 of 12 performance. But I don't know, man.
It just gives other fan bases like ammunition to go. Yeah. Our guy didn't make it, but your guy, I don't think it's arguable that Jaylen Brown, did make the All-Star game. I think he's clearly an All-Star, but I agree that once you're named an All-Star and you come out like this, it's a little, not the greatest.
Yeah, I agree with you though. I don't think it. I think you can argue it, but you can argue Jaylen Brown has been the most consistently great player on the Celtics team for pretty much the entire season. Yeah, he's had his bad games sprinkled here and there, but overall, I feel like he's been consistently good longer than Jason Tatum has been consistently good this season. At least that's just what it kind of feels like. But
Jason Tatum he just gets all the media clicks. He gets the media attention when he puts up 38, when he puts up 40. It's like, oh my goodness, what did Jason do? For some reason, Jaylen Brown put up. Let me switch. Okay, so Jason Tatum put up 38 against Indiana the first night, right? We lost. Mm-hmm. We won. Okay, this was when we played back in Indiana, right? 2 games in a row.
Yep.
The first game we won, Tatum put up 38. That performance was put everywhere. Like, oh my gosh, Tatum 38. Whoa. Brown had 40 the next game. We didn't even hear about it. We didn't even hear about that game. I will say partially because we were completely hosed at the end by the officials. Jaylen Brown was hit in the back of the head by Buddy Hield. I want to say that if we created a montage this month of how many times I brought this up or we brought this up on other post games outside of that one, it has to be funny. It has to be. I just want to mention that. But that game, yes, that's fair. Like, okay, maybe we didn't talk about Jalen's 40 because we lost in such a horrific manner, but he did put up 40. And it's like, well, JT, they saw that 38-point game a couple of weeks ago against the Pacers. And it's like, JB put up 40 right afterwards. We don't even talk about it in the same light as Jason Tatum. I understand that Jason Tatum might have more skill attributes to his game, especially in terms of playmaking, passing the ball, and setting up others in spots that Jaylen Brown might not have as good of a feel for. But I think Jason Tatum, he does have his nights where his shot selection is rank. And secondly, he is turning the ball over more times than he needs to be when he's forcing the issue. And look, I'm not saying that he's having a bad season or anything like that, but I think he can certainly take his game to another level because considering that Jason Tatum, he's going through a period of time where he's just an all-star starter and he's putting up consistent numbers on a nightly basis that look good, but intricately, we know Jason Tatum can be a lot better. He can simply be a lot better with the ball club, and that's why I believe, and I guess we're kind of on the same point here of Jaylen Brown being a more consistent presence than Jason Tatum in being a positive, but also not being a negative. Because I think Jason Tatum has the tendency sometimes to take a bad shot in a moment that the Celtics simply do not need a bad shot. They don't need a step back three. They don't need a three with 20 seconds left in the shot clock. Yes, Tatum is their best player and we want the ball in his hands, but in some moments, I believe he's just a little bit forcing the issue at times where if he tweaks that within his game goes to a whole nother level.
You know why Tatum gets more coverage? And I think I cracked the code. He's more attractive. I think that's it. That's it.
You said it, not me. The theory is out there.
Do you disagree?
No, I don't. I should have known.
Also, by the way,
I know what happens out here.
If you want to talk about All-Star reserves playing well on TNT after they get called an All-Star, Tyrese Maxey has 32 points on 73% from the field, 100% from three, and 100% from the free throw line at halftime against the Jazz right now with no Embiid. So,
dude, halftime. Like, my brain can't even compute some of these numbers that we're hearing at halftime nowadays. I want to see Brown or Tatum put up some of these halftime numbers. We do see Tatum.
Well, Tatum had like 21 in the second quarter against the Pacers.
I was going to say he had 20, but didn't he have 23 that half, though? See, if he had 21 in the second quarter, he could have.
I remember he
could have that crazy 30-point half. Now, I'm not saying that's optimal for a team, honestly, because Tyrese Maxey, they're playing without Joel Embiid, and right now, the fact he has to score 32 points in a half for them, well, that just kind of symbolizes that his usage has gone up incredibly. And I will say that the Celtics will probably never need that out of a player, and if they do, with this team, of course, if they do with this team, that's not the most optimal thing the Celtics can do. But I do believe that these games, like, there are moments where I believe I'm like, man, the Celtics stars, they put up some nice performances, but in a couple of spots, I'm like, I want to see a little bit more in this moment. Like Celtics Lakers tonight, especially let's back this up. Celtics Lakers is tradition. Nuggets Celtics, that's not tradition. That's potential future tradition. Who knows? When I face in the finals, who knows? Who knows, right? And they're contenders. Well, in that Nuggets game and in this Lakers game, the Nuggets game, Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, they showed up and showed out. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, it's like, they were all right. It's not like they were awful, horrendous. They were all right. Tonight, I wouldn't say they were awful, horrendous. I would say that Jaylen Brown definitely had a worse game than Jason Tatum. They didn't shoot very well. Wouldn't say they were awful, horrendous. This is the Celtics-Lakers matchup, and you go, this is on TNT, this is a national TV game. We want to see you all be better in this spot. That's what I want to see in this spot. And I actually expect some of the games in which they absolutely whoop opponents, it's like this could be a spot in which I actually do accept a 20-point game out of Tatum or Brown, or do accept the 25-point game where it's like, not that great of a performance, but we still came out with the win, and the rest of the team was performing. Not saying we haven't had wins and losses like that this season, but I think there are a couple of spots now gathering on the schedule where we're just kind of going, kind of want to be better here. Would you agree with that, Ian?
I agree. I would rather them not lose to the Lakers bench players.
Well, of course.
I don't know. I'm just hoping this isn't a repeat of last season, because last season Celtics looked like unstoppable through December, and then once the new year hit, it felt like everything started to fall off the tracks, and like the Celtics were losing bad games to teams that they shouldn't have lost to, and they just didn't play overall with any energy headed into the playoffs. And then in the playoffs, they played down to their competition, and they lost. So I'm just hoping.
What's that sound like right now?
I am hoping that this isn't a trend where maybe it's Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown led teams, maybe it's Joe Mazzulla led teams. I don't know who the culprit and the reason why, but I'm just hoping this isn't a trend where, the Celtics are just going to fall off once the new year hits every single year. That's what I'm hoping doesn't happen.
I believe people can't make up their mind on what they want out of the Celtics, or
I just want a championship. That's all I care about.
because well, obviously that would just cure every single conversation, but some part of me believes that the Celtics, the conversation around them, it's like, okay, earlier tonight, I was thinking about this a couple days ago where I was going, okay, so the Celtics essentially, in years past, they've gotten rid of a lot of the problem children in the locker room, whether it was head coach or on the court, right? Whether it was within their scheme or within last year, Joe Mazzulla taking over the head coaching role and certain players maybe not agreeing with him being the head coach and wanting another head coach around. The Celtics typically move on from those players. And in those instances, feels like those are the right decisions to make, because in 2018-19, after that season goes horrendously, Kyrie Irving, Marcus Morris, Terry Rozier, they're out of the building next season. It's 19-20. That's a much, much better season relative to expectations than that season was before. The team the next year, 19-20, won 48 games in 10 less games played because of COVID. The team in 18-19 won 48 games in 82 games. So we saw that effect of we subtract but add because of the personality deprivation that exists within the locker room, or the split rather. And now we've done it again. Marcus Smart, Malcolm Brogdon, goodbye. Robert Williams not really saying he was part of that, but it's clear that Marcus Smart and Malcolm Brogdon didn't have an agreement with what was going on within the Celtics organization. Malcolm Brogdon didn't feel valued within his role, and Marcus Smart didn't like that Ime Udoka was essentially fired by the Celtics after his incident. And those two players are shipped off. The Celtics come into this season with a great vibe, and now we have on TNT tonight Charles Barkley and Shaq saying the Celtics are simply too nice. They're simply too nice to win a championship. But I was thinking, if we're dealing with problem players all the time and we're getting rid of those players for the players that guys can actually come in and work with, which would be Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum up to this point, because who's been here for the longest all of a sudden is Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Those guys are all of a sudden too nice. How about those are the guys guys can come in and work with those star players, mesh with those star players. It's not like coming in and playing with Carmelo Anthony. If you're coming in and playing with Carmelo Anthony, look at what happened with Jeremy Lin 13 years ago, 12 years ago. Jeremy Lin was an all-star for 2 weeks, and Carmelo Anthony went, no, this is my city. Okay, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum aren't like that, but yet they're called too nice. So on one spectrum, you have, these players are problems. They they don't agree, right? You get rid of those players, but once you get rid of those players, the players we have, they're too nice. They can't win a championship. They're too nice. Not exactly saying this is the same entity of people saying this, but it's just the narratives that you see are formed around the team when we're still 37-12. This is an awful loss. We've had a couple of awful losses as of late, no doubt. But we're still 37-12. And I feel like every loss that we have, Ian, we know earlier in the project we were working on earlier that we came across a question about media scrutiny nowadays, right? That it's a little bit more heightened. That maybe more. 15 years ago, there was less pressure on the team internally, or sorry, more pressure on the team internally, but there was less pressure in the media. Now there's way more pressure within the media, and I wonder that are we overreacting over this loss? Are we seeing the Celtics in a rational sense, and what side is really, are they too nice or are they not too nice? I can't tell with some people anymore. I can't tell after a lot of these losses, and my personal self, I believe the Celtics, a lot of what happens on court can be fixed in pretty short time, and they can put up good wins. Like they go on a 7-8 game winning streak and they look dominant. I mean, that's all we're asking for. That's really all we're asking for here. And if that transpires, I still believe the team can be in a good spot going ahead. But I honestly, after one of these losses like this, I fail to really scope out what the narrative should be around the team, because on one hand, they have been good and they do have players that other players coming into the building, whether it's Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, can integrate with. And I don't really, at the beginning of the season, I might have worried, is the personality, are they going to mesh? They did in December. They did in November. They have in the early portion of January. Yet tonight you have this game where you come out like this and people are calling us too nice, Ian. They're calling us too nice. Seamus, where do we lie?
Well, Seamus, every time the Celtics lose, we are frauds. We are not championship contenders. We should honestly just blow it up. Just trade Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. We get think pieces on why Jaylen Brown's contract is the worst thing to ever happen ever. But I don't know.
People don't even understand that contract. Can I just go into this real quick? It's $304 million, but it's a supermax split out to the next 4 or 5 years. We'll disclaim that the cap projection came in $1 million short of where they expected it to be, where the league expected it to be next season. It's a little bit of a, I don't know. It's not great, right? Not great, but it's not as if these numbers don't go up, and people look at the number as if right now the luxury tax line is, I believe, 165 or 18. Either or, there's going to be the first $200 million teams are being built right now. Yeah. And as we go into the future, the line earlier, the cap in 2020 was, I believe, 112. And now it's at, I believe, I would have to look at my numbers here off the top of my head. It might be at either 136. It goes up almost every single year, basically. And that Jaylen Brown contract, people don't understand that relativity is important in any contract, where the fourth year, you see 60 million, but it's not going to be 60 divided by 112. It's going to be 60 divided by 210, right? It's completely different.
All right, yeah. Anyway, like we were talking about our previous project, media scrutiny nowadays when it comes to social media, it's bigger deal than at any other point in NBA history. There's a lot more people now that have more of a voice. They are more connected to a game. They follow the game more. More people nowadays connect and can share their ideas through social media now than ever before. So that's why us as Celtics fans, we tend to see all of that if we're looking for it, because it'll be curated towards us. If the Celtics are winning, we'll see positive Celtics posts. If they're losing, we'll see losing Celtics posts. It's just kind of the way that it's going to be. And going back to, I guess, this team as a whole, like you said, We're 37-12. That's the best record in the NBA. And it feels like the Celtics are not going to get any respect for it until they win a championship. Just for the fact that they've made the Eastern Conference Finals so many times, and they made the finals one time and they lost. It just kind of feels like everyone's just like, cool, they're a good team. We don't really care until the playoffs start. So at this point, I don't know. We're just kind of yelling into the void, it feels like, because it is an interesting thing to come up with, because it's really hard to pin down a narrative for the Celtics team as a whole. And especially, you talk about like TNT today, they're like, oh, they're too nice. They don't have that dog in them. That's why Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown aren't going to succeed. But they've shown a lot of success. How many NBA players in their career can say that they've made the conference finals almost every single year that they've been in the NBA? That they've made an NBA finals before the age of 30? Like, not too many people have
pulled up the amount of conference finals Joel Embiid has right now. Here you go, folks. There you go.
Not too many people have the careers that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have had. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just you take it on the chin. It happened. It's bad. We can be We can be mad in the moment, but we have another game on Sunday, and
that's where I just
pretty much it
for some scope of this game. That's where I just cannot properly. When we're talking about nailing down a narrative, that's what, like, you explained it best, where it's just hard to, for me, it's hard to see whether this team right now, at this point in time, after this specific game, okay, not saying this month, and this is what makes the conversation so ridiculous, is that, and part of me thinks that this team could be an all-time great team. They're 37-12. Yeah, they started at home 20-0. They're still 22-3 at home. That's still a nice record at home. That's, we're not 500 at home at all. It's not like, oh, geez, we're dropping every other game, right? But these losses, we come in here and talk about them as if, oh my goodness, that was not good whatsoever. That effort, that engagement, that execution, horrendous. And we come in here and talk about it. Are they going to be able to do this later on down the line? And I do think we forget some relativity in the league of other teams have bad games too. The Lakers just lost.
Wait, what? No.
To the Rockets.
No other team has a bad game, Seamus. Are you serious? Are you serious? No. You're not joking. Other teams have bad games. Other teams lose games to good teams. Other good teams lose games to bad teams. You have to be lying to me, Seamus.
And this is where I have no idea how to properly analyze the Lakers Celtics game or the Clippers Celtics game, where it's like, is this just a bad stretch where we need to hit the All-Star break, get some rest on our knees right now, or is this actually a stretch where we're proving that, oh, we have some legitimate schematic flaws that will hurt us later on down the line, or entitlement flaws that, oh, we're going to come in here and win? Can't have that mentality. Can't have that mentality at all. And I feel like that's what really spurred TNT earlier, and Charles Barkley and Shaq and everyone else on the set, Kenny Smith and Ernie Johnson. They weren't really giving out bad takes about the Celtics. It was really more Chuck and Shaq, if anything. Earlier, that's what spurred them to call the Celtics mentally weak. And I don't know if these moments necessarily are linked to a complete tendency, a consistent tendency within the team, or if it's simply just a moment that'll pass us. And it's hard to say within the moment, because we have to see more games in order to really decipher what the story will be. But tonight, this one is easily the worst loss of the season. And I'm going to go through a breakdown now, Ian, on why, because I think I told you earlier, Ian, getting this prepared, that too many screenshots to get through tonight. So let's start out with these breakdowns. We still need music for these. First one up on screen here. I guess I should take the ticker down for these breakdowns. Here you go. So this one's coming earlier in the game in the second quarter. And Ian, you mentioned the pick and roll earlier, how the Lakers were just completely destroying the Celtics in the pick and roll tonight. Well, this is a pick and roll set right here. And you see Christian Wood picking and then, of course, rolling off this from D'Angelo Russell setting the screen. Christian Wood setting the screen on Jason Tatum and then rolling. Keita is right there defending the paint. And the Lakers just have a lot of space in this particular instance. And here, D'Angelo Russell is able to get the ball into Christian Wood. And I want to point out, this is what the Lakers were doing so well all night, is that D'Angelo Russell, with all that space, he's driving, attacking the paint, getting into the heart of the Celtics defense. And right here, he delivers a nice pass to Christian Wood, although it goes simply nowhere at all. Christian Wood does make a nice play off this because he swings it to Taurean Prince, who then swings it to Rui Hachimura. As you can see on this one before, look at Taurean Prince. He's wide open on the wing in this play, and you just see the options that are created off of this particular set and off this roll. 2 3-point shooters just waiting there, Taurean Prince and Rui Hachimura. We talked about them earlier in regards to the Lakers 3-point shooting. Yes, here's the next screenshot where Taurean Prince, Sam Hauser. This is actually a nice closeout by Sam Hauser. He recovers on this quite well, and Taurean Prince is just able to get it over to Rui Hachimura and Al Horford. This is actually a nice little defensive possession by the Celtics. Al Horford is able to make Rui Hachimura drive on this, and Keita, look at Keita. He's right there at the rim defending him. Now, this is where Rui Hachimura can really develop as a player. Look at his option. Christian Wood is 6'11". Peyton Pritchard is on him. Peyton Pritchard's my height. Peyton Pritchard's your height, Ian. Peyton Pritchard is 6 foot. Come on. This is ridiculous. Throw it to the 6'11" guy. Come on, Rui. He doesn't, unfortunately, and tries to take the shot himself. And Keita just rejects it, swats it out, unfortunately, to D'Angelo Russell. But D'Angelo Russell doesn't hesitate with this ball. And this is what was different between the Celtics and the Lakers tonight, is that, wait a minute, do we have the right thing up on screen right now, Ian? Can we confirm this?
Yeah, you have D'Angelo.
No, I had a technical difficulty on my end right now. Sorry. For some reason, it's showing the lead tracker on my end, but we're good. I could still see the play. I was just making sure that everybody else could see the right play here. But D'Angelo Russell, this is the difference that I wanted to point out between the Celtics and the Lakers tonight, really, is the engagement and the intent. Right here, D'Angelo Russell, the ball is blocked out to him. He immediately reacts to this, okay? Immediately reacts to this ball, gets into the paint, and swings it out to Taurean Prince again. And look, the Celtics defense, they're on the run. Al Horford, this is his second closeout he has to make in this possession. So Al Horford, defending within this possession, closes out twice. People underestimate how hard it is to run out to the perimeter consistently and close out. Because when you're running an offense like this, and you're consistently passing it around the key and passing it out, going and attacking, collapsing the defense, passing it out to the perimeter, you're all of a sudden putting the defense on their heels and making them more tired. And the Celtics, in this particular instance, they're within that. And the next play, Taurean Prince, look at this. He gets straight into the paint right here. The closeout is not very good at all. You see Al Horford clearly allows him into the painted area. Sam Hauser as well. They both converge on Taurean Prince, and he splits the two of them. Gets right into the middle of the paint. Look at the middle of the paint right here. He is in the heart of the defense. He has two options. He has that corner three, or he has that wing three right there. And Taurean Prince, he's going to swing this ball out to the perimeter yet again for the Celtics to make another closeout. And look at that. Wide open three-pointer for the Lakers. Look at that. That's the Lakers getting into the paint, driving into the heart of the Celtics defense, collapsing the defense, and simply getting open buckets on the perimeter where they know they can when guys aren't covering them. Here on the next play, I've been harping on transition for a couple nights now, and this one is no different. Look at where Jason Tatum starts, okay? Look at where the ball is, look at where Jason Tatum is, and look at where Kristaps Porzingis is, okay? This doesn't lead to an immediate transition opportunity, okay? It doesn't. But what happens with Jason Tatum on this play, look how far behind Porzingis he is right now. He's not that far behind, all right? And Jason Tatum should be faster than Kristaps Porzingis. He's a little bit smaller, a little bit more athletic. Kristaps Porzingis, we know he's 7'3". Jason Tatum should be able to run up the court a little bit faster here. Well, what happens within this possession is Tatum, from not running up the court, Tatum could be covering Austin Reeves right now, all right? If he sprinted up the court, he could be covering Austin Reeves because Porzingis, he only needs to cover this for a split second if Tatum is running up the court, all right? Because Tatum can take this matchup. They can essentially scram this, Porzingis off of him, and go from there. Instead, Tatum doesn't sprint up the court. He's not even in this shot. And here he is now with Porzingis one-on-one with Austin Reeves. The chance of Tatum now switching on to Austin Reeves is gone. You had that chance before in transition. It's now completely gone with Reeves on Kristaps. And in this particular instance, he's just bringing Kristaps out to the three-point line here. Just bringing him out methodically, right? And this is part of the Celtics disengagement. And it lies. It sucks to say, but I'm going to pick on Kristaps Porzingis right here. It lies within this kind of play right here where Austin Reeves just shoots in his face. Kristaps Porzingis, this is a deep three. It is. But he leaves him way too much space on this. Look how much space Kristaps is leaving Austin Reeves right here. That's a lot of space. That's too much space. You need to get up into him. I know that Kristaps is 7'3" and that this is a mismatch, but he needs to get up in Austin Reeves a little bit more, knowing that Austin Reeves does have that three ball. And obviously on the night he shot 7-3, didn't know it at the time. It was the second quarter. But Austin
he already
Reeves
hit like 3 threes before that play, by the way.
Right. He was already getting going in this game. So at this point, you need to be up in his grill, and Austin Reeves literally just shoots right over Kristaps Porzingis. And this possession was started by Jason Tatum not running up the floor, and the Celtics switching that and scramming Porzingis off of Austin Reeves and essentially getting away from that mismatch, the disadvantage of the mismatch within the defense and the offense right here. This is a mismatch for the Lakers in which they took advantage of. The next play right here, we have Celtics offense, and this was actually my point on these plays, are actually the Celtics, for some of their shooting woes, you have to admit some of the open shots didn't go in. Sometimes they just don't go in. And right here, this is actually a great play because, look, Tatum is doubled right here in this set. And look at Al Horford. Nobody's defending him over here. They're doubling Tatum. And what does Tatum do? He doesn't need to swing this pass all the way to Al Horford. He swings it right to Derek White, who then gives it right over to Al Horford. And Al Horford is wide open for a corner three right here because they cannot recover to him in time, as you see. And this shot just didn't go in. This is a wide open three-point attempt for the Celtics that just simply didn't go in. And I want them taking this shot every single day of the week. This is not a three-point attempt right here that is a chucking three. This is Tatum passing out of the double team, finding White, and White finding Horford wide open in the corner. The thing is about this play, these are most of the ball movement plays the Celtics have. And this is what we praise the Celtics ball movement about. And this is a good shot. And we want to see this every single night. And it's not a part of the chucking threes, but this is just a separate point about this. This is what the Celtics offense looks like on a lot of nights. And there's not exactly more cutting. There's not intricate movements going towards the lane or the ball being entered towards the basket and being swung out. And these are the type of ball movement opportunities the Celtics like to get. And they're very simplistic most of the time. And this one I thought was a pretty good example of how they create it most of the time. However, we want to see these kind of sets be a little bit more complex in the future if need be. That is, this one really was simple in getting Al Horford that corner three right there, wide open. Now this one's going to be a little hard to see here because Derek White, this is part of the conversation of the Celtics needing to attack with more intent. Because Derek White right here, look at the space in front of him. Look at Cater rolling. Just attack this. Just attack this, okay? Right here, there's no need to to walk the ball up, wait. There's no need. Attack this, okay? Instead, Derek White does not attack this, okay? He's essentially allowing Max Christie just to ride up alongside of his hip, and Keita, he's alongside of him. He's in this no man's land all of a sudden where the Lakers cover this well, and what it ends in is this weird floater pass. Not really sure what happened from Derek White. Didn't really turn into much. But what this turned into for the Lakers was an outlet opportunity off the rebound. And what does D'Angelo Russell do? Look at D'Angelo Russell right now. He's attacking in transition. The Celtics, their transition defense right here isn't terrible. Guys are sprinting back. They're where they need to be. The three-point line is covered. Sam Hauser even is covering ball right here. But right here, D'Angelo Russell is attacking. He's attacking. And what does he get? He gets a wide open layup from going straight at Sam Hauser, straight at him. Didn't hesitate, nothing, okay? Went straight at Sam Hauser and got the layup. Whereas on the other end of the floor, let's go back to this Derek White play real quick. We can bring it up. He's not attacking on this play. He's simply not. He's just allowing everyone to flow with him. It's almost like a Kyle Anderson type of play, the slow-mo type of play. We've seen Derek White come up with those plays before and create something for others. But in this particular set against this defense, attack this. Attack this with this much space. I didn't see a lot of that out of the Celtics tonight, where I saw a ton of it out of the Lakers, as we see on this D'Angelo Russell play again, where he gets an open layup in transition despite the Celtics being in a good spot to defend it. Right here on the next one, this is another example of the Celtics simply taking a shot that didn't go in and us being accepting of it, really, because right here, the Celtics, you see the double screen from the big man up top here. The Lakers defenders have no idea what to do with this at all. And it's pretty simplistic what happens here. Just a complete wall is created in front of Jaylen Brown. This is kind of a funny screenshot. And he has a wide open deep three, which didn't go in. And this is a shot where, in my mind, I'm completely fine with Jaylen Brown taking this shot and this deep three right here because it's wide open. And some of those shots simply will not go in during games where you shoot sub 35%. Or what do we shoot tonight? 38% on the night, Ian, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Confirm that?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is a wide open three by Jaylen Brown, and you're not mad that he's going to take that. Not upset. On this opportunity right here, the Celtics, I don't believe their transition defense is exactly where it needs to be on this possession right here. Now, the Lakers do a good job of pushing it up the floor and getting after the Celtics defense. They actually do a good job of stopping the ball and making D'Angelo Russell pass to Max Christie right here. However, Max Christie, this is another example of the Lakers attacking way better than the Celtics, or way more aggressive and with way more intent. Look, he's going straight to the paint. Max Christie, straight to the paint. Right on Derek White, right on Neemias Queta. And Derek White actually has to recover off of D'Angelo Russell to stop Max Christie going to the paint right here. And that aggressive drive changes everything, because Max Christie, from this drive, look who's open. Look who is wide open on the perimeter. D'Angelo Russell. And guess who's his assignment? Queta. And guess what happens? Right. Shot fake. Queta has no resistance against this shot fake. It's impossible when you have a 6'11", 7-foot big guy on a 6'5" shooting guard / point guard who's one of the quicker guards in the league on the perimeter. It's not going to work out. There's not going to be too much resistance. He falls for this pump fake right away, and Sam Hauser's in complete help right here. Needs to help this opportunity. And who is wide open on the corner?
Rui Hachimura.
Rui Hachimura, who we talked about earlier, Ian, absolutely destroying the Celtics from three. That is a wide open three-point attempt for the Celtics, and it's really all about matching up in transition and not allowing the Lakers to attack so aggressively when it comes to getting inside of the paint, collapsing the defense, and needing the Celtics after that process, needing to contest on the perimeter. There were too many times tonight the Celtics, they were too lackadaisical in what they were trying to do, either defensively or offensively, with their intent. I don't understand, Ian, quite frankly. I'm just going to disclaim this right now about the Celtics and the team. I don't understand why this team in particular, they go and give interviews and talk about, yeah, we just got to play hard. We got to play with energy, got to play with intent. But then we look at some of these plays and we go, well, that's
Doesn't look
not,
like they're
that's
doing
not,
it.
that's not playing hard. That's not playing with intent. There's, I'm trying to articulate the difference here between playing with aggression and not playing with aggression, because what D'Angelo Russell did on that transition opportunity, he's sprinting down the court. He's going straight at Sam Hauser. There's not a minute for Sam Hauser to think like, all right, what's going on here? The play before that, Derek White is just kind of methodically getting into the lane. It's like, no, go, drive into the lane. There's no reason to just kind of tiptoe into the lane, wait for Kate on the roll and wait for my, like, there's no reason when there was that much space in front of him and a big guy that we've seen Derek White beat before. He's pretty quick. He's pretty quick as a guard, pretty nifty around the rim as well. And instead comes up with that play. For as much praise as we do give some of these Celtics over the season, there's certainly some game film we break down here on Postgame and have broken down here on Postgame that suggests this team can be a lot better in terms of their engagement, in terms of their effort, in terms of their execution, especially defensively, and some of the mechanical things as well. Not offensively, I really wouldn't say that's an issue, but defensively, I think we do have players on the squad that at times are not the best defensive players. They're not the Celtics defense. I think schematically they're one of the best defenses in the league, and I think players within that system can work, right? Sam Hauser's a nice defender, he's a nice defender within our system, but he's not a nice defender individually. It's basically what I'm getting at here.
Yeah, and if we're going back to it, we talked about it earlier and you showed it a little bit. They were attacking, and they just got right into the chest of Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, Al Horford, or pretty much anybody that was in front of them, whether it was D'Angelo Russell, Neemias Queta, or D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura. They all just put their head in the Celtics' chest, and they attacked the rim. And that's what a team like the Lakers needed to do. They executed their game plan perfectly. And I hate to say it, the Celtics, Joe Mazzulla got outcoached by Darvin Ham. And that might be the saddest realization of the night.
I'm going to put my hands in my pockets to honor real quick. Hold up.
It looked like Joe Mazzulla had his hands in his pockets for most of this game, it felt like. But I don't know. It's all kind of a mindset thing, obviously. That's just what it was. The mindset of the Lakers was, yeah, we don't have LeBron and AD, but it's our time to show why we deserve to be on this team, why teams should trade us, why teams should trade for us, how we are going to be able to contribute to a high-level basketball team. And the mindset of the Celtics was, no LeBron and AD, whippy. This is going to be an easy win.
I'm not even going to lie, Ian. I shot a live reacting to the All-Stars earlier, the All-Star reserves, and I said at the end, I mentioned that LeBron and AD weren't playing tonight, and I go, well, free win for the Celtics.
So you're part of the problem.
I am, but look, I didn't suit up tonight. I only suit up for post game. I don't need to be on court, so it's all on them to show up and show out the Garden. I just show up here and talk about them after the game. I was part of that mindset, though. I will say that, because I was not thinking that they were going to put up this type of performance or that there was going to be this much resistance from the Lakers whatsoever. And that's what made this loss so excruciating, is that it's like the Celtics had way more talent, way more, but the Lakers executed and played much, much better. And that's just end of story. They executed, played much better, had a much better mindset, and didn't feel entitled in this game whatsoever. I almost feel like the Lakers paid the Celtics or the league paid the Celtics to play so horrendously against this squad tonight to up the trade value of Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell so that the Lakers can get something good at the deadline. But my goodness, this was a loss that we want to forget. We absolutely want to forget. Our next game, though, coming up on the schedule is one at the Garden as well. This 7-game homestand, Ian, not the greatest of starts here. Not the greatest of starts.
Well,
for
I don't
7-game
know.
homestand.
For a team that started their home record 20-0, they're what, 3-5 since then? Or what? No, not 3-5.
They're
What
1-3.
1-3.
So
Hang on.
losses
Yeah.
against the Nuggets, the Nuggets, the Clippers, and now the Lakers. And we also won against the Pacers the other night. And we almost blew that game. Rough. That's rough.
It's no bueno out here.
Wait, do you have a stat for us right now, Ian, or no?
No, I was just trying to confirm to see what our record was since the 20-0 thing. But yeah, you were right. It was 1-4.
Yeah, that is.
I don't know. Let's see if Sean Grandy posted any fun stats. He normally likes to post random fun stats.
No, it's not 3 a.m. Ian. It's not 3 a.m. yet. He'll have a nice stat at 3 a.m. We'll have it out for you guys tomorrow. It comes out at 3 a.m. It's like one of our favorite responses now as a Celtics fan is when you get some crazy stat in the middle of the night from Sean Grandy.
Let's see. The Celtics have lost 3 of 5 at home after winning 27 straight.
Well, variance.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because they did win 27 straight, including the playoffs. I think that's what he's getting at.
Or the regular season, because we lost Game 7 at home.
Yeah, but whatever. Let's see. Celtics at home, last 5 games, 2-3, negative 38 scoring margin. Previous 27-0, plus 16.3 scoring margin.
Not great.
Was wondering if the
about all
Celtics
this.
ever had. Oh, here it is. Was wondering if the Celtics had ever won both games against the Lakers and Clippers in LA, but lost both games the same year. It's happened 3 times, including this season. Can you name the other 2 seasons where that happened?
Are they recently?
Not really. One is in the 2000s and one is in the 2010s.
Oh. So is this gonna first of all, if I sat here and really thought about it, I feel like we could. So in 2016-17, the Celtics.
So it's before 2016-17.
So right, I was gonna say in my tenure, basically covering the team on a nightly basis, that has not happened. I don't think.
Yeah, so
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know the other years though. To the
okay,
team.
so the first time it happened was 2006, and the second time it happened was 2011.
Wow.
And then this is the 5th time in franchise history the Celtics have given up 19 threes on better than 50% shooting. It only happened twice in Boston, and the Lakers did it both times. February 7th, 2019, and their 18-point comeback. That was the Rondo buzzer beater. And tonight,
that's my least favorite game of all time.
Yeah, that's actually. I was looking at Rajon Rondo highlights because I was making a video about him a while ago, and yeah, that was the first one that popped up. That one kind of hurt a lot.
Well, it's so rough because Rondo is my favorite childhood player, and it's like that's a moment in his life. It's a moment in his career. Game winner with the Lakers against the Celtics at the Garden. It's like,
oh my God. So I just noticed that Tyrese Maxey game we were talking about. By the way, he has 43, and the 4th quarter just started. He has 0 assists.
Only a light 11 points in the 3rd quarter, by the way. Only a light 11.
I mean, he's shooting 15 and 24 now, by the way. But
that's
43 points and 0 assists for a point guard.
That's outrageously efficient for a guard.
Never swing the rock, Maxey over here.
That's outrageous because Tyrese Maxey and the rest of the guards in the league, they're benefiting off of the pace, the style of play taking place right now, and the newly implemented rules when it comes to not touching defenders, which over time have been progressively implemented in by the NBA over the century, where we're at now to a point where a player essentially just can jump. An offensive player can just kind of nudge a defensive player a little bit and get a call, and that's about it. There's no physicality whatsoever. Today's NBA is a little bit peculiar, I will say. It's hard to put on the same plane today's NBA with the NBA of the past because there's so many numbers that just were not attainable in the past. Just like in the 2000s, you couldn't attain some of these numbers we see today on a nightly basis. Like right now, the fact a player hasn't scored 81 points, shame on the NBA. Shame on the NBA, because I think James Harden, if he was 2018-19 James Harden in the same situation right now in today's basketball, right? Because in 2018-19, the Rockets, they were playing a high pace with a lot of threes, but other teams, they might have been playing more methodically. James Harden, he was scoring a lot of points, but the other team might not have been helping those points along. Now, today, if you get into a matchup with the Indiana Pacers, they're running just as fast. They're shooting just as much. And I believe that iteration of James Harden could have potentially put up more than 81 today. But my goodness, some of the numbers that we see on a nightly basis, we're certainly in another era of basketball. 43 going into the fourth. Ian, 43.
Hey, what also,
32 and a half.
Since the Celtics are playing in Jazz and we want more random stats here, Kelly Olynyk has the same amount of free throws as the entire Celtics team shot tonight. Kelly Olynyk, he is 7 for 7 from the free throw line. This Philly-Utah game is actually pretty close. It's 98-97 right now.
But
yeah, he has
points out though the
he has 7 of 7 free throws, and the Celtics only shot 7 free throws as a team. And one of them was from Tata. And
for the Celtics, the Lakers shot 26 free throws. The Celtics shot 7. Some people look at that and go, wow, the officials, man, the officials.
Refs versus Celtics.
No, because we went through these breakdowns. When you are driving aggressively to the paint with your head down, you're getting calls. You're going to get to the line 26 times. When you're not, like the Celtics were doing tonight, not going with intent, not driving aggressively consistently, you get 7 free throws. That number paints the picture for this game as well tonight, unfortunately. I just want to point that out.
There goes Tyrese Maxey, and that's 45.
Oh my goodness, we need to get off of here before he scores 50, and we have to douse Tyrese Maxey, the Sixer, on this Celtics Lakers beatdown night. Oh geez, but
I don't know.
Yeah, well, we're still on this post game hour here, and we're way over our time here of an hour. But the Celtics, of course, coming to the Garden tonight against the Los Angeles Lakers. No LeBron, no Anthony Davis. Did we even mention that in this show? I think everybody it's kind of a given coming into this post-game show. Should have mentioned that at the beginning. But no LeBron, no Anthony Davis in this game. And the Celtics come in a little bit entitled, feeling like they should win. They get smacked around by the Lakers, 115-106 tonight. And that is all we have for you guys here tonight on the Celtics Talk Weekly post-game show. I am your host, Seamus.
Hang on. We got one more thing
for me in here.
This isn't a statistic or anything, but the next game the Celtics play is against the Memphis Grizzlies. Will you cry when they show the Marcus Smart tribute video on Sunday?
Me? Will I cry?
Will you be a little bit emotional watching that Marcus Smart tribute video and him coming back to the Garden for the first time?
My relationship with Marcus Smart is a little bit. Obviously, I don't have a personal relationship, folks, with Marcus Smart. Okay, he's never been on the show. Maybe one day, Marcus, you want to come on the show. My level of relationship with Marcus Smart, like I'm not gonna get emotional until he's retired, because he's in Memphis right now. Yes, he's not with the Celtics anymore, but there gives me a little bit of happiness knowing that he's at least still playing within his NBA career and still producing for another team. Now he's been injured this season, unfortunately, but I do take a little bit of that from the situation and think positively about it, and just kind of believe that maybe this was the moment that the Celtics needed to move on from Marcus Smart. I don't know what happened behind the scenes last year with Joe Mazzulla and the coaching hierarchy and the arrangement there, but I don't know. I don't tend to get emotional at these comeback moments. I think the Isaiah Thomas one, I might have got a little bit emotional too, but every other one I think I've been pretty even keeled for. It'll be interesting though, I think. He's not playing, so it adds another wrinkle.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'll get a little it'll be one of those things where it's like, damn, I do kind of miss him in a way. Because like, he was literally like the guy here for his entire career. So I don't know. It'll be kind of one of those things where it's like, damn, yeah, I remember all the good times we had with Marcus Smart, and yeah, I hope he has a long and he has a great career, even outside of the Celtics, because he deserves it. Because he's a great guy, he's a great player, and I can't wait to see him back in the Garden on Sunday.
I personally think right now it's hard to say like what I'll be like in the moment of when he comes back, because right now I always think in hindsight, like beforehand or in hindsight, it's like, oh yeah, but every time I do picture some of these moments, like I picture Kevin Garnett's jersey retirement, right? I think that was one of the more emotional events.
Yeah.
Paul Pierce's too. Those were two of the more emotional events in the moment. But I didn't think like those were gonna. I thought the Kevin Garnett one would be somewhat emotional because we experienced the Paul Pierce one, but the Paul Pierce retirement, I didn't expect that to be so emotional going in, and it was. So it's hard to say Marcus Smart. He's been around for a long time, and I think there could be like right now it's we're just thinking about Marcus Smart. It's like, oh, he's playing with the Grizzlies. He's Marcus, right? Well, there are so many moments that we're not thinking of him like diving on the floor, hitting a no, yes, three. And there are just so many moments of him giving his body out for the entire team and putting his body out on the line and making sacrifices, and also at the same time being a leader when he felt that at times we think Marcus Smart's like, oh, was he the leading voice? I don't know if he needs to be, but maybe there weren't other leading voices in the building, and he felt the need to do that in certain moments. And that kind of leadership maybe did put a couple of extra wins in the Celtics category, or the win column that is for the Celtics. And I think right now we're going to be reminded of a lot of those moments when he comes back to the Garden and we see a lot of those tributes to him. I think in that particular instance that I'm thinking right now that like, probably not that emotional, but I think when the moment comes around or reminded of more things, I think I will become a little more drawn to maybe shedding a tear that Marcus Smart is no longer around, because it's a little shocking that he's not still to this day. It's a little shocking, just a bit. Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, they certainly make things a little bit better, but Marcus Smart not being in the building, it's just a completely different vibe this year than it has been any other year for certain. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, and like I do agree where it's like you're not gonna know like how it's gonna feel until like it actually happens in the moment. But I don't know. I will say it was very emotional for the Isaiah Thomas comeback. I do remember that. That was I got a little emotional about that because, he was IT. And then obviously the KG jersey retirement was, I think that was probably the most emotional I felt when it came to any of the jersey retirements that I've seen. So, but I'd say the Bill Russell tribute on opening night last year was also up there for one of the best comeback or tribute video type things. But yeah, I'm excited to see what Marcus does. And honestly, I kind of wish he was playing, because could you imagine if he like dove on the floor for like a loose ball? Maybe he like picks, I don't know, Jaylen Brown's pocket, dives on the floor for a loose ball. I feel like the Garden would still go crazy for it.
Yeah, it would be one of those weird instances where
like Marcus Smart hits a three and the crowd goes wild. And obviously, it would happen in like the first.
I think the only other time we've seen that, I think Paul Pierce's last game at the Garden. Maybe another time in between there I'm forgetting about. We outright root for a player that was on the other team, where we were just like cheering for him every time he had the ball. Wemby, did that happen with him? No, I don't think so.
No,
I don't think it happened with Wemby. I feel like there are only a handful of times there are a handful of players that can actually happen with, but I do see that happening with Marcus Smart potentially. But this is another theme with Celtics coming back. They always tend to have to wait a year. That Isaiah Thomas tribute, what made that even more emotional is he was with the Nuggets at the time.
Yeah, because
after his time
yeah,
with the
because he
Cavs.
didn't play in the Cavs game.
Well, he was traded before that game. Remember the hoopla. We'll talk about this since Marcus Smart is coming back on Sunday. So the hoopla before that Cavaliers game, because it was in February, I believe it was February 18th, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong the day. It was February of 2018. And that game ahead of time, we were going, oh, that's Paul Pierce's jersey retirement, but Isaiah Thomas is also making his return to the Garden. And it was such a controversial topic they were talking about on ESPN if the Celtics should show a tribute video of both Paul Pierce and Isaiah Thomas. And remember there was that rhetoric of we shouldn't show an Isaiah Thomas video on Paul Pierce's jersey retirement night. This is supposed to be Paul Pierce's moment, but it never mattered because Isaiah Thomas was traded a week, 2 weeks before that date ever happened, and we never had to worry about it. But that was such a big thing in that moment that we tend to forget happened. Thankfully, there's nothing getting in the way of Marcus Smart getting his tribute video or anyone else. There's a little strange moment in Celtics history that we lived through. I always think back to that and I think, wow, that was just so stupid. That was so stupid. And we tribute videos for real. It's like they're a minute.
Yeah.
Because
I remember I hope this doesn't hurt our chances of Paul Pierce ever coming on this podcast, but I remember him not being happy with the fact that Isaiah Thomas was going to get a tribute video on the same day that he was going to have his jersey retirement.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring that up entirely because I was like, I don't know if I'm entirely accurate.
I don't know. That's at least what I remember.
I'm quite certain that's what the case
was. But I don't know. I could be mistaken, and if I am, I apologize to you, Paul Pierce, if you ever wanted to come on this podcast.
We will give you a tribute video, Paul Pierce.
Oh yeah, we can definitely make a Paul Pierce tribute video.
We won't do Isaiah Thomas in the same day. Isaiah Thomas, IT little guy, if you want to come on.
We'll make an IT tribute video without Paul Pierce.
Little guy, we're like the same height, but But anyway, I think that's going to wrap us up for tonight. Marcus Smart, he's coming back to Boston on Sunday, and the Celtics will look to avenge a horrendous loss against the Los Angeles Lakers on Sunday against the Memphis Grizzlies. Marcus Smart, unfortunately, not playing in that game, but he will be on the sidelines for us to all see and hear from before and after the game. So that'll be fun. And him being in the building back in Boston, I'm so glad to see Marcus Smart back in his face in the building. It's always great to see former players, even if they're only around for a game or two games. It's always great to see former players back inside the TD Garden. But for tonight, Ian and I, this Lakers-Celtics game, Ian, I can't believe we made it an hour 30 almost on this Lakers-Celtics game. This is the worst loss of the season. Okay, folks, the absolute worst loss of the season. You can't find the worst.
Let's here, I'll finish off with some positivity. I did just finish watching Ted Lasso the other day. So I don't know if you've seen that. Have you seen Ted Lasso? It's a good show, but
I know about it, but I'm not
anyway, there is something that he says in the show. One of the players was making mistakes and he was having a rough time, and he came up to the player and he said, "You know what? Be a goldfish. Goldfish have short-term memories." So the Celtics game happened. Let's be a goldfish and forget about it, and we'll move on to the next game,
which is against the Memphis Grizzlies on Sunday. And the Celtics, they're not ready for this game, Ian.
Yeah, if we lose on Sunday, it's going to be a
spicier
post-game. That's going to be a very interesting post-game show.
It's going to be way spicier than this one ever could have gotten tonight against the Lakers. If we lose against this Grizzlies team, I don't even know. But the Celtics, look, Sunday, they still have a chance. They still have a chance. They could go on an 8, 9, 10, 20 game winning streak after tonight and shut us up on this post-game show entirely. But we still have to sit through here and see what happens, sit through the data with the Celtics. But for tonight, we saw the data in which the Celtics put forth 114 to 105. The Lakers without LeBron James and Anthony Davis come into the Garden and absolutely obliterate the Boston Celtics.
Womp womp.
That's all we have for you guys here.
Womp,
What? What, Ian? Yeah. Womp womp on the night. This is perfect night for Franco to come in here with all the sounds. Yeah, he has all the we needed the soundboard for this particular post game, but for tonight, that's all we have for you guys. I am your host, Seamus Zarlingo, aka Celtics Everyday, alongside of me, Ian Anangelo at iAnangelo. Go hit him up on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And that does it for tonight's episode of the Celtics Talk Weekly postgame show. We will be back with you on Sunday. And like I always say, thank you all for listening, and go Celtics. Uh-oh, folks. Let's try it.
Nope, you're still alive.
Oh, we got graphical difficulties. See you, everybody. We'll see you on Sunday.